When you walk into Best Buy and see those TVs glowing impossibly bright, you're not seeing the real picture. What Best Buy doesn't tell you about their TVs is that every screen on display is deliberately set to look far better, up to 40% brighter than it ever will in your living room, thanks to hidden retail mode settings and carefully curated demo footage. The picture that wows you in the store is engineered for a sale, not for your everyday use. But what happens when these illusions don't stop at the screen? The truth behind how you choose, what you pay, and even what you take home is much deeper, and you'll want to know the rest before your next big buy. Rows of televisions stretch across the sales floor, each screen blazing with color and light. The moment you approach, one thing becomes clear. Not all pictures are created equal, even when the TVs themselves are. On the left, a flagship model flashes a waterfall in impossible shades of blue, every droplet sparkling with a surreal intensity. To the right, a more modest set cycles through a news broadcast, flatter, paler, almost washed out under the same ceiling lights. Both TVs come from respected brands. Both claim 4K resolution, but the difference is night and day, and it's no accident. Best Buy's TV wall isn't just a lineup, it's a carefully staged performance. Every screen is tuned for maximum impact, running in what manufacturers call store mode or vivid mode. On these settings, brightness and color saturation are pushed to the limit. Blues and reds leap out, skin tones glow with a strange energy, and contrast is exaggerated so shadows look pitch black and highlights almost sear the eyes. This isn't how these TVs are designed to look in a living room. It's how they're programmed to stand out under the store's fluorescent glare, which is often 3 times brighter than home lighting. In the store, ambient light can reach 700 to 1000 lux, enough to wash out a normal TV setting. At home, most rooms hover between 50 and 300 lux, a much dimmer, softer environment. Try to tweak the picture, and the TV often fights back. Store mode is built to override changes, snapping back to full blast after a few minutes. Some TVs even display pop-up banners. 4K Ultra HD to keep the sales pitch front and center. The content itself is just as carefully chosen. Premium models loop dazzling HDR demo reels, city skylines at sunset, neon-lit streets, fields of flowers in impossible hues. Budget sets might run basic HD footage or even standard broadcast TV, making them look dull by comparison. It's not just the hardware at work. It's the footage, the settings, and the lights, all stacked in favor of the sale. The effect is powerful. Shoppers drift from one screen to the next, drawn to whatever pops the most. It's easy to assume the brightest, most vibrant TV is simply better. But swap in the same video clip on both models, or change both to home mode, and the gap shrinks, sometimes vanishing altogether. This is the illusion at work, a side-by-side comparison designed to steer your eyes, not reveal the truth. The real surprise comes when you bring that TV home, set it up in your own space, and realize the image you fell for in the store was never meant to last. The numbers behind these differences are even starker, but before diving into the data, the visual shock alone is enough to raise questions about what you're really buying. Numbers don't lie. Independent reviewers have tested floor model TVs at Best Buy using professional colorimeters and found measurable differences that go far beyond what the eye alone can catch. In store mode, peak brightness readings can hit 700 to 800 nits on a mid-range LCD, sometimes even higher on flagship sets. Switch that same TV to home mode, and the output drops to 450, maybe 500 nits at most. That's a 30 to 40% plunge in sheer brightness just by changing one menu setting. It's not just a one-off. RTI, NGS, CNET, and dozens of AV forums have posted side-by-side graphs showing this same pattern year after year across every major brand. Color accuracy tells a similar story. In store mode, the error rate, what reviewers call delta E, often jumps above 5, meaning colors are visibly off from the source. In calibrated home mode, that number drops below 2, which is considered accurate enough for professional editing. The illusion goes deeper than just the numbers. Store mode locks in these exaggerated settings and will often override any tweaks a shopper tries to make. Lower the brightness or switch to a softer color profile, and within minutes, the TV silently resets itself to maximum intensity. Some models even flash banners like Demo or Store Mode across the top of the screen, confirming that what you're seeing isn't what you'll get at home. Reviewers have documented this with step-by-step footage, showing how the TV's menu reverts after a short countdown, or how advanced picture controls are grayed out or hidden entirely until the TV is reset to home mode. Energy use doubles in store mode too. Tests with a simple watt meter show a mid-range TV pulling 160 watts in store mode, then dropping to around 85 once switched to a calibrated home setting. That extra power doesn't just impact your electric bill, it can shorten the panel's lifespan, especially on LCDs and older LED models. Even the content is engineered for effect. Best Buy's premium models often run exclusive HDR demo loops, designed to show off extreme color and contrast. Reviewers who bring their own USB sticks loaded with test patterns or familiar movie scenes find the gap between models shrinks dramatically when both are set to home mode and play the same content. In some cases, the difference that seemed so obvious in the store nearly disappears. The hard data is clear. Store mode exaggerates every metric that sells a TV on the sales floor. Up to 40% more brightness, double the energy draw, and color settings that would never pass muster in a home theater. For anyone relying on what they see in the store, the numbers prove the illusion is built right into the system. A price tag hangs under a 55-inch Samsung QLED, bold and urgent. Was $1,199, now $799. Black Friday deal. The shelf glows with yellow and red, and the fine print whispers, "Today only." But behind the numbers, the real story is buried in the timeline. For weeks before the sale, price trackers like Camel and Wayback Machine Snapshots showed that same TV listed at $799, not $1,199, at Best Buy and competing stores. The higher was price only appeared days before the promotion, just long enough to meet the legal minimum for advertising a markdown. Receipts from November 20th, 2022 show the final price as $799, with no record of a $1,199 transaction in the weeks prior. The so-called discount is an illusion designed to trigger urgency and the thrill of a bargain. Ex-employees describe how price tags are swapped out overnight, sometimes twice in a week. The morning crew slides in new shelf cards with fresh strike-throughs, and the cycle repeats for every major shopping event: Black Friday, Labor Day, even random weekends. The same TV might carry a doorbuster badge 3 times in a month, each time with a different, original price. Promotional emails echo the urgency. Don't miss out, prices go up tomorrow. But price history charts tell a different story. The $799 deal is more common than the full price ever was, and the so-called sale can last for weeks or quietly reappear after a brief pause. Consumer Reports and Wirecutter have both documented this pattern, noting that TVs labeled as deep discounts are often at their real market price, not a rare markdown. In 2022, Best Buy listed more than half its TV inventory as being on promotion, with average discounts of 20%, but the WAS prices rarely matched the actual sale history. The Federal Trade Commission's guidelines require that a reference price must be the genuine, recent selling price. But enforcement is spotty, and the line between marketing and deception is thin. The urgency isn't just in the numbers. Shelf tags use words like "today only" and "limited time," even when the same deal cycles back week after week. Behavioral economists have shown that these cues can push shoppers to make snap decisions, fearing they'll miss out on a rare opportunity. But in reality, the deal is often waiting for anyone willing to check back the next day. or to scroll through a few weeks of price charts online. For shoppers, the lesson is simple. Never trust the strike-through at face value. The real price history is hiding in plain sight, just a few clicks or photos away. And while the tag says, now $799, the only thing urgent is the push to get you to buy before you look twice. A line of TV boxes fills the aisle, each marked with a jumble of letters and numbers. QN90B, QN90C, QN90DA. To most, these codes mean little, but a single letter or digit can hide a world of difference inside. Manufacturers and retailers quietly release exclusive versions for big box stores, changing just enough to create a new SKU. Sometimes it's a new batch number, a suffix, or a barely noticeable label on the back. The changes inside can be anything but minor. A Samsung QN90B at one retailer might use a VA panel, known for deep blacks and strong contrast. The same model, bought elsewhere or even weeks later, could have an IPS panel, which offers brighter colors but weaker black levels. The box and shelf tag won't reveal which you're getting. Reviewers have tested these TVs side by side. RTI-NGS, Flat Panels HD, and HD TV Test have all found units with the same model number but wildly different performance. One boasting a 3,000-to-1 contrast ratio, another just 1,000-to-1. TCL's 6 series is infamous for this panel lottery. One owner posts a photo. Their serial tag points to a VA panel while a neighbor's bought at the same store shows IPS. The difference in a dark room is obvious. LG's NanoCell 90 series swaps between VA and IPS panels depending on supplier availability. Sony's X900H and its warehouse twin, the X90CH, look identical from the front but can differ in HDMI ports and remote features. Retailers often request these tweaks to create exclusive inventory or hit a price point. The result is a maze of nearly identical TVs with hidden hardware swaps, sometimes fewer HDMI ports, less advanced backlighting, or a cheaper stand. Product cards and sales pitches gloss over these details. Most employees don't know, and the manufacturer's website rarely lists the fine print. Only the serial label or a deep dive into the service menu reveals the truth. For shoppers, the risk is real. Online reviews might praise a model's deep blacks, but your unit could arrive with different parts and a completely different picture. One buyer, expecting the high-contrast panel seen in YouTube reviews, got a TV with duller blacks and uneven lighting. After weeks of frustration, they found a Reddit thread mapping serial numbers to panel types. Their TV was from a batch with the lower-grade panel. No warning, just a single letter's difference on the box. AV reviewers now call this the panel lottery. Some publish spreadsheets matching serial codes to panel suppliers, urging buyers to check before they buy. But for most, the only clue comes after setup, when the picture doesn't match the hype. Two shoppers, two TVs, the same model number. One gets what they expected, the other is left wondering what went wrong. Without careful inspection, there's no way to know which one you'll get. A receipt from Best Buy tells a different story than the price tag. The cost of the TV is only the beginning. Below the subtotal, lines appear for a Geek Squad protection plan, a professional calibration, and a pair of HDMI cables. Each add-on carries a margin FAR higher than the TV itself. Protection plans can add up to 25% to the total bill, $200 on an $800 set, despite the fact that most TVs already include a 1-year manufacturer warranty. The markup on cables and mounts is even steeper. A 6-foot HDMI cable selling for $39.99 in-store costs less than $10 online from the same brands. Wall mounts and surge protectors are routinely marked up 200 to 400%, making them among the most profitable items on the sales floor. The store layout reinforces these upsells. Accessories are placed at arm's reach, often right below the TV wall or stacked along the checkout path. Lighting zones highlight premium cables and branded mounts, drawing attention to high-margin extras. Best Buy's own training scripts instruct employees to point out the complete package, sometimes suggesting that skipping the protection plan means risking costly repairs, or that only premium cables will unlock a TV's true potential. Staff are coached to mention that a Geek Squad calibration can make the picture look as good as it did in the store, even though many TVs are already tuned for retail conditions that will never exist at home. Ex-floor employees recall the pressure to attach add-ons to every sale. Attachment rates, the percentage of TVs sold with a protection plan or service, are tracked daily, and managers celebrate high numbers. The real profit isn't in the TV's slim margin, but in the extras that quietly stack up at checkout. For shoppers, the sales conversation is shaped less by picture quality and more by what the store stands to gain after the TV leaves the shelf. Every shopper wants a fair shot at the truth, and there are real steps to make that happen, even in a store designed to keep you guessing. The most powerful tool is the service menu, hidden deep in nearly every TV. On Samsung sets, it's usually a sequence like Info, Menu, Mute, Power on the remote. For Sony, try Display 5, Volume Up, Power. LG and TCL have their own codes. A quick online search for your model and service menu brings up the exact path. Inside, you'll find the panel's total hours of use, an instant check on whether your new or open box TV has been heavily demoed or previously returned. Some menus even list the panel type, letting you spot hidden hardware swaps that never make it to the shelf tag. Before you leave the store, ask staff if you can check the service menu yourself. Not every employee will say yes, and some stores require a manager's approval. If you're allowed, document the process. Snap a photo of the hours, the model number, and the serial label. But always ask permission before filming or photographing inside a Best Buy. By policy, commercial recording or anything meant for public sharing needs written approval from corporate, not just a nod from a sales associate. If you're just taking notes for personal use, most managers will let it slide, but respect any request to stop. To keep stores honest and help other buyers, a public crowdsource form is now open. Submit your findings, panel hours, or model codes. The link is on screen and in the description. If you spot a pattern, like a batch of open box TVs with high usage or a model with swapped panels, share it. Best Buy was invited to comment on these practices. Their official statement is displayed here. Transparency starts with real data, and together, every shopper can help shine a light on what's really inside the box. In measured lab tests, TVs in Best Buy's retail mode have shown up to 40% higher brightness compared to their settings at home. Throughout this documentary, we've seen how showroom lighting, inflated strike-through prices, and hidden model differences combine to create a buying experience designed for profit, not transparency. Manufacturer documents confirm that model numbers can differ by a single character while using different panels or fewer features, and receipts reveal accessory markups of 200% or more. Yet, Best Buy's public materials rarely mention these distinctions, and the full extent of internal panel swaps remains undisclosed by brands. Today, these tactics continue, shaping how millions shop for electronics. The evidence is clear. Every detail, from demo loops to open box returns, is engineered to influence decisions. The best protection is knowledge. Armed with these facts, buyers can see through the illusions and make smarter choices in every aisle.